What's up, guys? Back after quite a while, and yeah, it's I said when I made the last video, then that was all about the new year having started, and that I was gonna make more of these videos, and that I was gonna follow some goals and stuff. But the year isn't over. I am now making a video, and I have been sticking by the goals, which is good. I've been reading 5 pages a day, sometimes more than that, and sometimes not even just a book. I've been learning more as well, and that's exactly what I want to talk about today. And as usual, I'm keeping the format the same, talk a little bit about myself, and then tell you about what I'm going to be doing in the near future, just so that I can have some level of accountability. Now, in the last video, one of the videos that I made in the past was cut the shit, and there's another video on stressing out, and the response that I got from that actually was pretty nice. But it also made me think a little bit, and it made me reflect upon myself. And that's something that I've been doing recently, is what I've just been thinking about myself, about what I want to be doing in the long term, not in the short term. I know in the short term what I want to do, and I also know what in the long term I want to do. And I'll get into that also soon. But I realized was a sense of I realized a sense of gratitude from those old videos, and primarily because I got a very nice comment in one of the videos, which is somewhere over here. I'll link that up there. But it was about someone having been following me and watching my videos from Cedar Listen Up, the podcast, for since it started off. And that just felt really warm, and that made me feel very good about myself, because that gave me some sense of validation. And I'm very grateful for that. And as soon as I realized that I was grateful for that comment, because then it pumped me up. Someone I don't know, maybe I do know, but I don't know who that person was, but someone I don't know sent me a message saying that, love what you're doing, and please keep doing it. That's obviously that's gonna pump anybody up. That pumped me up, which is why I'm making this other video. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that you have to be sure to pump up people around you. Appreciate the people who are around you, because everyone, I think, or people who I know very closely, everyone goes through their own fights and their own struggles as well. But then having someone there letting them know that, don't worry, buddy, giving them a pat on the back, that always helps. And I think that many times we forget to do that, because we're so caught up in our own masla and masail that we forget about what problems other people are going through. And with that being said, it ties into gratitude, is because that's something that I realized a while ago. And I don't know if I've mentioned this in a video, but every morning when I wake up, I just say that I'm very grateful for what I have, because a lot of things were taken away from me, and I had to fight to get them back. I had to fight, and I had to help my family out. And I'm not going to get into that part, but the rough times that I did go through made me realize a lot. And the thing that I realized the most was that always be grateful for what you have, because you never know when you might lose it. And also always be grateful, because it's the tough times where you're going to learn the most from. I went through a shit time during university, but I don't regret it one bit, and I don't hate my family for that one bit. Past couple of years were a struggle as well after university, but I don't hate my family for that one bit, nor do I hate my lucky stars. I don't hate my stars for that at all. I actually tell people, and I tell myself, that I was a privilege for going through what I went through, because I learned a lot from it. And that has made me the person that I am now. And I'm also very grateful for the friends that I've made along the years, because it's those people who have stuck by me, and who keep motivating me and keep encouraging me to do the things that I want to do. And gradually, I have also started to realize that what is the things that they want to do, and what is it that they actually are fighting for, and how can I help them. And that is my point, is that if you find anyone who you find a close friend who is maybe just going through a bad day or a bad week, let them know that you're proud of them, because they're still alive, right? They're still treading through it, whatever they're going through. They're trying to figure themselves out. They're trying to figure their goals out. And everyone's struggle is different. Everyone has their own ups and downs. But just remember that, man, you're giving your best, right? There's a certain level of competition that comes about. But I think even parents need to understand is that sometimes just tell their kids that, you're proud of them irrespective of what grade they get. Or, sometimes if you're a manager, tell your team that, yeah, you guys messed up, but I'm still proud of you guys, because without you, I wouldn't be able to get my tasks done as well, right? Everyone works together. It's a cohesive unit. So whether that's at the workplace, appreciate your people, appreciate your team, appreciate your manager, appreciate your subordinates. Let them know that you value them, right? You have friends who want to accomplish something. Let them know that you are there to help them in any way you can. And this is a message to all my buddies who are watching this, the few that are, I don't know. Thank you for everything, because without you telling me that I could actually do this and get in front of the camera, I wouldn't have done this in the first place. Thank you so much for making me go through, for making sure that I actually stick by every episode of Listen Up that I have made, or that I have in some way directed and put an effort into. And with that, I want to go onto another tangent, and that's about discipline. And the reason why I'll keep the gratitude element aside, and I'll bring into discipline now, is that without actually disciplining yourself, you might not be able to feel grateful. Now, what does that mean? According to me, that means that if you don't figure out a certain regimen to do something, right? If you don't sit down and actually do something the way you want to do it, or the way you think is the best way to do it, you're not going to move towards your goal in any way. Now, kids who have exams, people my age who are done with university, who've entered the job market, trying to figure themselves out, trying to figure out what they want to do, and also just trying to sort out your goals in whatever age bracket you are. I think discipline is something that's very key, and that's something that I've been doing actually recently. A couple of weeks ago, I made a schedule. Now, every day, since I was 19, I've had a habit every day at the start of the day, I would make a to-do list of what do I have to do. The first thing that I did was I scratched to-dos and I started writing must-dos, so that I'm accountable for those goals, so that I do hit those targets for the day. The second thing that I started doing was I made a must-dos of the week, broad, overarching agendas, goals that I'd like to hit. For example, reading an article or two from the Harvard Business Review, or learning another tutorial on Final Cut Pro, or figuring out camera techniques in a better way, or figuring out how to fix audio in a podcast. Things that are going to help me grow and are going to help me in the future. Those are the things that I'm trying to do. So I'm disciplining myself, and by completing this cycle, by actually making a schedule and following that. And so that means in my day, I've sorted out what days and times I'll be going to the gym. After that, what time do I have to get into office A, office B, office C, meet this person, meet that person, chill, not chill, spend time with family, do this research, do that research, make a list for the next day. All of that has been scheduled in some way or the other. And I'm not, going by the T, but it has helped me to discipline myself, because now it's in the back of my head that, okay, I've put it on paper. I've told some very close friends of mine that I am doing this. And if I don't stick by it, then it's in the back of my head, right? There are a couple of courses that I've also picked up that I want to do that I haven't finished yet, that I need to finish. So that's also on that schedule as well. That I've made the time to do it. And I think it's very important for everyone to follow that schedule and discipline themselves, because I've realized that if you do manage to build the discipline to discipline yourself in the first place, half your problems will go away. You will stop dwelling about half the shit that you do anyways, and then you'll actually start realizing that, okay, I can do this, I can't do that, or this is as far as I can go, this is the maximum reach I have. And this way you will avoid burnout as well, I feel. And that's a threshold which you figure out on your own. I can't tell you that, your mentor can't tell you that, your mom and dad can't tell you that. You're only going to figure that out. अगर माँ बाप का बस चलता तो बच्चे को कहते थे कि भाई तू बहुत थक गया सो जा अभी, right? But that's never going to work if you just zone out instantly. So you have to test these things out on your own. And the reason why I'm bringing in discipline as well is because, especially for kids in A levels or O levels right now, even for university for that matter, who have that pressure of their mocks and then their exams, and then of course having to get into a good A level college or a good university and so on. If you don't discipline yourself to make sure that you do create a framework to reach your goals, how are you going to reach your goals anyways? Right? You could wing it, you could be super smart and just be lucky, or you could actually focus on making a schedule, or you could focus on working on your weaknesses and then getting to where you want to be. My back blew out. So what do? I now go back to the basics at the gym. I build my foundations again. I work on my compound movements. I do the accessory movements that are required. Taki when I do get back into the heavy lifting, I have done it properly and then my back doesn't blow out again. Right? It's as simple as that. Focus on the small little things. Make sure that you are disciplining yourself. Make sure that you're focusing on your weaknesses so that you can eventually get to where you want to be. I know right now that if I don't discipline myself in actually learning how to make better videos or make better audio content or make a better schedule or learn how to manage my team better, or if I don't if I don't figure out what the next big social media trend will be, then I haven't really focused on my big goal. My goal is everywhere. If in the future, where do I see myself? I see myself as the CEO of some holding company which I would want. And in that holding company would be all the companies, all the firms, every business venture that I've wanted to do, every field that I've wanted to get into, but I couldn't get into because of my circumstances. So that means getting into acting, getting into cooking, getting into hotel management, getting into clothing and apparel, getting into a media company, which has happened, has started in some extent, starting a public speaking platform, creating a school, creating an elementary school, creating a leadership network, so many things that I have. The list goes on and on and on. And if I don't work in any way or form, if I don't try to learn more, basically if I don't focus on developing myself, self-improvement, if I don't do that right now, how am I going to get to that in the future? Right? So what do? I discipline myself by making sure that I'm scheduling my chilling time. I'm scheduling in time for me to actually learn something new. I'm scheduling time to do unstructured research altogether. But at the same time, I'm scheduling time to just sit and reflect and to think about where am I standing right now? Where can I go in the future? What do I need? What steps or what measures do I need to take to go into the future? But, and at the same time, just scheduling time to slow things down as well. And that's very important. Self-awareness is very important in this whole game. So now, with this being said, right, the final note of this episode is it started off from old videos and the realization of appreciation and gratitude, moved on to disciplining yourself, to improve yourself and to work on yourself and to do things that you enjoy, because I realized Pele, but it's now that thought is solid. I set myself a challenge. I set myself a rival, and I said this in Sir Bilal's podcast that I did with him, was that Simon Sinek has a theory of the infinite game, and long story short, I set myself a rival, and that rival for me is Bilal Hamid. Not because I want to beat him in any way. At the end of the day, yes, the competition is with yourself, but I'm setting myself a worthy rival so that I know that that's the pace I need to go at, and that's the skills. Those are the skills I need to learn, and I know that I have someone who I'm in line with, right? I've set myself that rival, and I know that I have to discipline myself, right? But again, sorry for going on a tangent. I'm recording this really late at night because bas ek keeda hai abhi ke record karna. I haven't done it in a while. But so yeah, that realization, the discipline, all of that is now making me focus on creating more content like this, because I realized that this is something I like doing for myself. I really, really enjoyed the whole process of doing Listen Up, and thinking about every episode and just figuring out how we can up the video quality and how we can up the audio quality and just how we can make things consistent as well. But then, of course, if you watch the episodes of Listen Up, again, the link will be somewhere here. If you do watch those episodes, you'll see that sometimes the episode, the quality is really good. There's like 3 cameras and sometimes just 1 camera, but the audio is great. Sometimes you'll see that the guest the conversation has gone in an amazing direction, and sometimes you'll think, okay, well, this conversation I could do without as well. And I'm not beating myself up about it because I loved it, right? And I want to do more of that, but I'd like to do more of it with people who I want to learn from. So what I've decided is, and after watching 2 people on YouTube specifically, one is Gary Vaynerchuk and the other person is Matt D'Avella. After watching these 2 people, I've realized is that what I like doing is actually I like conversing with people and I like learning from them. Because I'm reading books now because I know I have to. it's going to help me only. But what I like doing more is I like sitting with people and having a chat about how their lives are and what they've learned and what their experiences might be and what their perspectives might be. Of course, always making sure that I'm as tolerant about their opinions as they might be of mine. I don't want any clash. I don't want any fights. No, I'm not a paddebaz boy, right? So I would want to just have a conversation about them, right? So there will be people coming on, and I've said this pehle, you know, maybe my brother might come on the show. I might maybe bring in a friend or two, and these are people who have thought about along over the span of a year. I would like to have, you know, I'd like to know this about a person, or I want to highlight that young talent, or I want to highlight this young talent. But the idea now isn't for me to highlight anyone's talent. It's literally for me to soak up knowledge and information based on what they have accomplished and what they do now, right? It could be anyone that I know in my network, and eventually, if you guys like it, then you could suggest in some guests, and I'd be glad to have a chat with them. At the end of the day, I don't know what the title is going to be, but it will be a separate series. It's not going to. I'm going to try and make more videos like this, where it's just me and the camera. But I will also have a separate series running, which is just going to be interviews with people, and I'm going to schedule it so that I know that once a week there is an episode coming out. Now, ideally, I should shoot like 4 episodes and then release them, ताकि I know I have a backlog and I have a buffer of content. But if the fire is sparking that, if the fire is that solid, then I might just release an episode as soon as I have a guest on, right? And I might not wait for the next one. Might just release it ad hoc. But I will try to make a schedule, and I'm going to add this into my schedule as well. I'm going to discipline myself to make sure that I do make an active effort to get in touch with one of my friends, have them on, interview them, document them, learn more from them, edit that in the same time, so that I can release it at a appropriate time as well. And hopefully, you guys might enjoy it as well. But thanks again for watching this. I still don't know why I'm doing this, because I guess I'm doing this because I just want to document, and I want to figure out that maybe 50 years later, this is what actually lasts. This is what people will be like, oh wow, Asad Hashmi started from here. Who knows? But yeah, thanks for watching, and thanks for the love again. Till the next one. Peace out, and thank you. And I would recommend that you go and say thank you to anyone who is close to you, and make them understand, make them feel loved, right? So yeah, cheers, peace.